And we are live.
Woo-hoo.
And Jessica is such a force of nature that we have a third person here to really stick it to her. E.L. Montague is here as a guest. What are we? Moderators? Hosts? Talking heads?
You and I,
Something.
Conversation.
you and
Yeah.
I, we're excess to requirement is what you and I are.
So, Jessica, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
And we were talking before we went live. How many books do you have?
So I have 7 published novels and then a combo version of my first 2 books. So 8 ISBNs floating around there under my name.
Nice.
Nice.
I
And
was only able to find covers for 4 of them in the time that I had.
That's okay.
So-
We'll survive.
You have to hold up the other ones. Dan, we're late again. You know what, Dan? We are exactly on time for how much we get paid for doing this. So you're lucky to hear it all.
so, how many different series do you have? Is it all one series, all one world? Tell us about
So
your
it's-
books because we're going to get
Sure.
sidetracked soon.
Yeah, it's all in one world.
Okay.
But there's my first series is 4 books. That's Fires of an Empire. And then I have the second book, Sons of the Flame, which I'm 2 books into. It's going to be 3 books.
Same world,
and
new characters.
Same world. That's the next generation. And then I did you could call it a prequel, but it's not really a prequel per se because it's 200 something years in the past to do some of the lore. And that one's a standalone. That's called Dragon Riders of Old.
You made a book prologue. You're pro prologue.
I mean, I have prologues in, I think, one of my books.
I'm just saying, you wrote a whole novel 200 years before everything.
200 years before, yes.
To explain everything. You know, if you had attached it, they'd call you Tolkien.
It's a novel one.
I mean, it's kind of like I think of it as like the true story behind the legendary figures that, inspire the faith of the main series.
I'm sorry, Jessica. Hold on. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Never mind.
So, just so you know, Dan in the comments is my brother, and he was Navy for, 14 years or something. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
understand.
so in fairness, I was about to side with Dan and say something about work is also common in the other branches, and then he said Navy, and we all know what the truth is there.
There you go.
You can't blame me for being late. It wasn't my fault.
Nope.
I was here.
Yeah, you were here on time. Thank you. That's all right. So you're calling up from Michigan. Thank you for calling from Michigan and for living in Michigan. That's very nice of you. You still have feet and feet of snow?
No, unfortunately, it's been like 50 degrees for the
Everything
past
just went quiet on me. Everybody is
I can hear him.
We can hear.
Cool.
It just happens
Okay.
to me. Everything just freezes on me. So I kind of pick back up when
I'll answer
So-
the question just that it's the snow is mostly gone now, which is sad, but hopefully we'll get another good snowstorm before the seasons change.
hopefully.
Ugh.
What is this?
I am anti-snow.
I love snow.
Snow is great. I mean, if it's a choice between 10 below and nothing, or 3 feet of snow and 0 degrees, I will take the 3 feet of snow all day.
Well,
But
sure. If you're
you
going
have
to
to live
freeze, you
somewhere
might as
where
well
they-
have the white stuff.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Of course,
you gotta
I'm in
live somewhere
Texas.
where
It's
they-
75. I'm in shorts and a short shirt, and it'll be like that. We had our winter. It was 2 weeks long.
Hey, up where Jessica is, they'll be in shorts in about 3 weeks.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you don't need it to be 75 here to be in shorts.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not that kind of person.
When we lived in Alaska, I have a picture of my wife outside in shorts and a t-shirt doing some gardening, and the one of those temperature gauge things, the thermometer, that's what it is, mounted to a tree. It said it was like 30, something like that. But the sun was shining. She's outside, and it was lovely.
It's all relative. Once you get used to like negative like 4 for
Yep.
a period of time. Once it gets up to like 40, it's like it's balmy. Don't even need a jacket.
Well,
And when it's been 90 days since the sun shone,
well, you know,
I
it
mean-
shines. It's just not a long time.
There's a sun behind the clouds somewhere.
right?
Well, Fairbanks, the sun rises about 10 or 11 in the morning and sets about 1 in the afternoon. So you get your couple hours in there. It's all good.
Ugh. No, thank you.
You're inside all day anyway. What's the difference?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Although I will say, I took my nephew. We went to Iceland in right around June, middle of June, and it was the sunset at 12:35 a.m. and it rose at 1:20 a.m.
Yeah, the constant daylight's a lot harder to get used to than the constant darkness.
That sounds
They had
awful.
blinds. It was fine.
All right, Jessica, I always ask about what's going on in the backgrounds of people, and you've got a giant peacock, which I will be interested in your choice there. But I'm also interested in Mike has gotten himself a Thunderbird or something behind his swords there, which is new.
Oh,
So
that
tell us
is
all
a
about the peacock.
oh yeah,
You're
peacock.
next, Mike. Tell us
Okay.
Okay,
about
so
the peacock.
the peacock does have a story.
Tell us. We love
When
stories.
we moved here, I painted this room. I picked out this color, and I was very like I wasn't quite sure about it because it was very beachy, like a little brighter than I was wanting, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then I happened to go to a resale shop, like an antique store,
Right.
and I found that peacock.
Oh,
And it was like a really cool painting, and I was like, I mean, I need that. So I got that big peacock painting and I brought it into the room, and suddenly the room became the peacock room. The big peacock behind me is from somebody who I guess had a peacock theme whatever going on, and then had a garage sale to clearance it all out. So I got peacock candles, peacock feathers. I got that one. This quilt my mom made custom has got peacocks all over it. So I just went out all in on the theme. And now
you took Green Room to an extreme.
That's right.
So
I'm just
it's
gonna
not-
own this. It's the peacock room now.
Some deep-seated love for peacocks. It just happened to work out for the color.
One
we'll know that if
rummage
she tells
sale.
us there's a peacock in her book.
There is not a peacock in my book, but yeah.
But I
Hey,
bet you
EL.
work one out.
EL, do you have
Turkeys.
headphones?
Lots of turkeys.
EL?
Yeah.
Do you have headphones?
I do. I can probably work it out.
Because we're getting feedback and echo from your speakers.
Oh,
No.
I should just turn those off.
Or do that. So Jessica, you have these books in this world, and they're all in the same world, but they don't necessarily interact with each other, do they? I mean, do you have like different series that are entirely different separations of folks, or are they all based around the same thing?
So the most removed is obviously the one that takes place 250 years prior. But the two series that I'm working on, they are connected. It's the main character and his son. So it tells his story and then his son's story.
Which one's your latest?
The son, obviously. The latest book is called Bonds of Scale.
Oh, that's not the one I have. I have 4
No,
covers.
you have Legacy of Blood. That's the first one in the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's the first one in your second series?
In the second series, yep.
Dragon Egg, I assume?
It is.
Or a big peacock egg. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a thieving a dragon egg away.
Ooh.
One of those guys. All right.
Yeah, Ronan is he's kind of a unlovable protagonist in a way.
Mayor do well.
Prodigal son, right?
And what is where does this one fall?
That's book 3 of the first series. So this is the first one, Fire from Ashes.
Oh wait, we got that one.
Yeah. That's the first book I ever put out.
Okay.
Now, how long ago was that?
That was published in October of August of 2024. So I've
Oh,
been
wow.
banging them out. I got about 3.5 books a year average right now.
Holy stink!
It will not be this year. This year, I'm only like, if I can get one good, I'm gonna be good.
Well, how did you even manage 2 years of that kind of output?
I don't know. I say it's like I got a brain worm in my head and I couldn't stop myself. So like the third one that I wrote that in a month like we went on vacation and I just like we were at a nice island for a month and I just banged it out. So
You went on vacation and wrote a book?
I wrote a book. I went to the library. I spent like 8 hours at the library just writing a book.
All right. I don't generally like to do this, but I want to have to explain to you the concept of vacation.
I mean, it was a vacation to me. It was great.
Send your husband down to the casino or whatever and say, off you go?
Yeah, he went to, the brew pub.
Oh, right. Okay.
Ah, okay.
Everybody went. Okay. See you in 8 hours. What do you work or do you get to do this full time or do you have to take
No, I do work. That was part of it as well. I got a new job at the time and I was on the bench. So I'm technically supposed to be at work and available, but I have nothing to do. So I'm writing books. So that explained a lot of it until they could ramp me up and give me actual work to do. And then now that's kind of my problem now is I'm working and they have work for me to do and it takes a lot of time and then I have children. So I'm doing about a chapter a month right now, which is really great.
With a full-time job and kids and husband? Yeah, that's actually pretty decent output. What do you do for work?
So I am a consultant with an IT company. It's called a senior solution architect. So my job is to go in there and figure out how the business runs and then make recommendations for how they need to fix their systems.
All right. Okay. So when your website, which everybody, you should go check out her website. It's very neat and clean. It says that you made that yourself?
Yeah. Yep.
You're one of those folks. What did you do? Straight HTML or did you use a?
So that's just it's Wix, so it's pretty drag and drop, nice interface. It's not particularly tough to work in the UI for, but yeah, I have some tech skills. So I actually had to put that I built it myself because somebody was using my website and trying to solicit work from other people, saying that it was that they built mine, and I was like, no, they definitely didn't.
That's just wrong on a bunch of levels.
So when Ro and I were looking at your website, there was one thing in particular that we thought was just absolutely awesome. And that is did you find a typo? Click here.
Yeah. I like that.
That is real smart. Mike, you just said something sacrilegious. When Ro and I were looking, you researched?
Ro was
the 10 minutes before the show started. We have to change the crawler every time, so we have to pull up the website and see what it is. Ro was actually looking at the website. I just got the copy and paste, and I was done. Yeah.
See how he tries to shift the blame and say it wasn't me.
I'm the third of four boys, EL. What do you expect me to do?
That is hilarious.
And EL, just to answer your question from before, that is a Carnix behind me, a Celtic battle horn. So it's like 6 feet tall.
The red flag. I knew the Carnix.
Oh, okay. The red flag is from some comic book that my brother got me for Christmas, although I hate comic books and haven't read it since I was 9. So thanks for thinking of me, I guess. But he said that's attached to the comic book and I have to read it. Oh, no. It's not a comic book. It's a graphic novel because that's freaking different somehow. And don't get me started on my brothers. Just don't. We're here to talk about Jessica and celebrate all things Jessica.
We are, for sure. So tell us a little bit about tell us why the characters that you picked. Start with your hero.
So my main hero would probably be Kieran. That's the first one of my series, and I created him with my son as an inspiration. So I started writing in general because my son was having trouble reading. He's dyslexic, and he was having such a hard time. He was telling me how much he hated it, and I really didn't want that for him. I don't want him to hate books. So I got it in my head where if I can like give him good stories, we can listen to audiobooks, we could do all this stuff. So I started looking I wanted a hero that was somewhat flawed, that had to struggle, that failed and made bad choices sometimes, but ultimately comes out ahead at the end because he persevered. And for whatever reason, like that was harder to find than I would have liked, like based on just my familiarity with what was out there and what I was finding in like trad pub circles of things. I was like, okay, well, you have like the chosen one who's kind of perfect, and then you have like, you know, your grimdark stuff where it's like everybody's kind of evil. It's like I want somebody that's just not perfect. So that was where he came from in my head, is like I want to create somebody that, again, struggled, made bad choices, but has a good heart, perseveres, and has success at the end. So that's where he came from.
And age appropriate.
So the story is my children have listened to all of my audiobooks, and you know they've gone through the whole story. But yeah, I generally say this is more like 14 plus.
Okay.
I don't mind having a conversation with my kids about like tyranny and like torture and all this other, like I'll happily sit down and let's talk about that. Let's talk about like how awful, you know, the Soviet Union was and stuff like that, so that you can have, yeah. But you know, I respect that other parents may not want to have those conversations. So 14 plus.
No, I totally get it. I encourage no parent to let their children read anything I write. So Ro laughs, but yes, I wouldn't encourage anybody to read it. By the way, guys, I'm still getting an echo, but I don't think it's me.
I'm working on it.
Okie doke. So for your flawed hero, what kind of a villain do they get?
So his villain is essentially a system. I actually modeled the world of the country is called Parinthia, and I modeled it after the Soviet Union. So you have like a gulag type military camp. You have an oppressive emperor, and he's running things as a dictator, essentially. So you have a world that is essentially crumbling. So it's like end stage Soviet Union, where it's like the farmers are all like they've been either taxed or pushed off their land, or just everybody's kind of starving. Like it's a pretty bleak environment that we're introduced to when we enter this world. So I guess the bad guy would be the emperor overall, but it's more of the system that he's created, that he's trying to overthrow that governmental structure.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did you get into writing novel length stuff to begin with?
That's a good question. It was also the inspiration being my son, as you can do hard things. And when I wasn't finding the story I wanted, I sat down and I started to craft the idea of what that story would look like. And I had inspirations where I was like, okay, well, I've read like the Inheritance Cycle, the Aragon books, and I would do this differently. If you didn't realize that, yeah, I write Dragon Rider fantasy. So it's like, I would do it differently. I would have this be like this. I would have this be like this. And then I kind of got the concept of the Soviet Union. And then I started to write. The Fire from Ashes was the first full-length novel that I've ever written. It was pretty much the first thing that was not like technical documentation for my work that I've really written. So, you know, I did not come into this expecting to be a writer. I'm honestly surprised that not only did I finish one novel, but then I kept going. I found that I loved it unexpectedly, I would say.
We hear that a lot, actually, especially from folks in kind of the there's a lot of people in the IT field actually that end up doing exactly what you've just described. It's kind of almost annoying a little bit from someone. It's not annoying, but
You mean
there's a
from
lot of
communications guy?
yeah. There's a lot of STEM people and a lot of IT people who kind of fall into this, right? So you have
There's a lot of nerds in STEM fields.
that's
true.
fair. That's fair.
Just so you're clear, the guys that actually buy comics and watch all these
They're all
shows and wanted to be heroes.
Unlike Mike, and Mike, I was out, but I heard what you said about the gift your brother gave you. Be it known right now, do not ever give Mike Molman a Christmas gift. Okay? Just don't freaking do it.
It'll
Because
hurt your feelings.
he will tell you he doesn't like it, and then instead of giving it back to you, he will just give it away.
He's
I
given
would
one
have
of
paid
your.
the shipping to get it back, man.
That's hilarious.
Oh, anyway. So, Jessica, how are you going about, other than shows like this, which will reach tens of people? How are you
Hopefully.
going about? Yeah, not yet. Getting the word out about your books and your world. I mean, are you doing shows up there? What's your plan?
Yeah, so last year I dabbled out into the world of the live event, right? And I found a lot of success actually locally, just going to things like farmers markets and craft shows. Like I'm the only author there, so I'm interesting to people, and
Yeah.
I was always able to pay for my table and I moved more books at those things than I would like online for like a whole month. So I've done a couple like more conferencey or Comic-Con type things at this point, but I'd like to do more of those. I find that those are really efficient ways to like just talk to people and get the word out. The last thing I did, I got accepted for a BookBub deal, which has been amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So like that moved a whole bunch of books, and I've watched as of right now. I think I have just over 24 people who have bought my entire series from that deal. And I was like, well, that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So
it paid for itself.
it paid for it. Did I'm officially in the black as of today. That was officially in the black.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
that's been a big lift. Otherwise, it's trickling up from endless effort on the internet.
So, Jessica, how far are you away from Grand Rapids?
So Grand Rapids is about 2 hours.
So I've had 3 different people at 3 different Comic-Cons tell me Grand Rapids is like really a great con. You should definitely sell there. And I'm in Virginia. I'm not driving that far. But I've had 3 different people, 3 cons like, oh yeah, you definitely need to go. And I'm like, okay, maybe one day. But
yeah, I've actually been to that one. Like I've been there as like a participant. So it is a very nice, like I was in that same like complex for a writers convention last year. So it's like a nice complex. But yeah, the Comic-Con it's a good one. They have like a lot of good speakers, and we spent like a whole day there. I talked to a couple authors.
That's awesome.
How did you go about getting your BookBub deal? Any tricks of the trade you can share there?
So I
What's
did
the
write a
secret
Substack.
handshake?
I wrote a Substack article. You can find the Substack link in my website if you go there. I kind of applied to it on a lark. This is the book I applied. And I wasn't like, I heard people had a lot of success with it. I didn't really know if I wanted to make that upfront investment. It's a lot of money. And I applied, and I was like, they're probably going to reject it anyways. What's the point? Like, but you can't win if you don't try. And then I got like a notice that they accepted it. And I was like, oh, now I have to make a decision. So I spent a few days just reading other people's experiences and trying to decide if I was going to do it. And then I was like, cross my fingers. Let's go.
So what all do you have to do after? Did you just apply and they say, okay, and
Yeah,
paid your
so I
money and it was done, or-
applied. I applied, then they approved it. From there, yeah, you pay your money and you pick how long you want it to run. So you have some customization for how long to run it. I ran it for 6 days, and then the email goes out. My dad actually sent me an email on the first day it went out because he subscribes to BookBub, and that's where he buys a lot of his Kindle stuff.
Right.
And so he sent me the email with me in it, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So it's like a 4-figure up front, right?
Yeah, so it was full transparency. It was like $585 for a fantasy of my size, and they scale it differently. It's like a free promotion is like a couple $100. I did a 99-cent promotion. You can go all the way up to I think like $2.99, but they go up in price as you go up in price. So I ended up selling. I've sold about 1,000 books since that.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's not just like, I think 800 of those are the first book, and the rest is the tail. And that's where I think like having the finished series really made the difference, because it's like I watched the tail grow, and they're buying those at full price, which is amazing.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people would be into that if they know that, hey, here's a finished series.
Yep.
You know, we'll try out book 1, and if we like it, we'll go
going.
for the others. That's awesome.
Yep.
Man, we're on the wrong deal, Mike. We need to be hammering BookBub.
I apply and get rejected every time.
Oh, dear. Okay.
That's the trick. I don't know what specifically like made them.
I was
going to
say, how do you know that? Why did they pick you, and why did they reject
I don't know.
you?
Dragons.
Yeah, I'm popular. It's the dragons. I don't know.
That must be it. God love
Yes.
a good dragon. So how are your dragons? Are they intelligent? Do they communicate with their riders, or are they super ferocious and nasty, or do you have a little mix of each? Or
So this is one of the fun things. Like I said, I had the inspiration of Eric. I don't like the talking dragon thing very much. Like I like the idea of them being more bestial, but like still intelligent. So my dragons do not speak, but they do connect their minds with their rider. So they are emotive. Like everybody, they're sharing their emotions, rage, calm, whatever, and that's how they communicate. So it's fun because you have a situation where your emotions don't always align. You sometimes have the rider calming the dragon calming the rider, and you have situations where they miscommunicate. Like they're not able to communicate because they can't talk to each other. So it's like they have to figure out a way to communicate what they're trying to get through, either an emotion or a flash of something. So it's just kind of fun to play.
now, I will ask you this specifically, Jessica, and maybe EL. I know Mike has it. I know what his answer is going to be already. So last year they put out a movie that no one asked for, and that was the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen the live action. No, my son has, and twice I think.
And you've managed to not be there both times. Well done.
I did not know. It was
Parenting
Nana
win.
took him. He wanted to go twice. So.
Yell.
I actually have not seen it. I would have gone, but just didn't hit the bingo card. So
I love the animated ones. I like.
Yeah, right.
Loved the animated ones.
Did you ever once say to yourself, "Wow, I wish they would make this into a live action thing"?
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah. They did a
They
good
could
job.
only make it worse.
No, you know what? It's not that bad. My wife and I watched it the other day, and my first thought was they just did a scene for scene remake with the same script.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've seen the animated one, but after a while, it really wasn't that bad. It's kind of worth a watch if you like the original, and if you like dragons. They did a pretty nice job with it.
Yeah,
Mike, I know you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've not.
Mike hasn't seen any movie. Have you been working on your 12?
So I actually just looked down and I found the list of movies that I'm supposed to be watching this year. I've watched one.
All right.
Which was?
And I
since you're
started
running
a
behind.
second one, and The second one was just boring, so I stopped.
What was the second one? Come on.
Godzilla -1.
Okay, you know what? Rude gestures towards you. That was a great movie.
I only got like 25 minutes in. I was like, I'm bored to tears.
How could
Oh
you?
no.
You're so. The first 20 minutes, that's like the battle, the first battle, tearing up the runway. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
So
hopeless.
you have to replace it. Jessica, to give you a little what we're talking about, at the New Year's show, Mike is famous for DNFing books and not knowing anything prior or after 1990, basically. And he doesn't watch movies. He's that old hermit man, that the kids
Yes.
kind of skirt around and like don't even go to his house for Halloween.
All
So
true.
he came up with 12 movies that he has to watch this year. Mike, read out your 12 movies that you have to watch. And none of these has he actually seen.
I've watched The 13th Warrior in January.
Which was what? Say it was good.
It was okay. I have issues with it, but it's fine. Let's see. Total Recall, the new one. Kobu and the Chew Strings.
Kobu and the Two Strings. It's very
Then
good.
EL cheated, and he's like, "You should watch The Gentleman and/or Layer Cake." So he threw two in there.
You can watch either one. One's a 1990s and one's a 2010s, or I guess it's 2020s.
Then Tim Wolf, who I need to make his character even worse because of this, he chose 50 Shades of Grey. Ugh. Let's see. Roe chose Gross Point Blank.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Rowdy, player one, who's normally a very upstanding person, chose Godzilla -1.
It's a good movie. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Tim Janota, who is just the bane of my existence, chose what is largely known as the worst movie ever produced, Plan 9 from Outer Space. But the joke is on him because the people who used to do MSD3K, they have a YouTube channel, and they did that on their YouTube channel, so I'm going to watch it there, and it totally counts.
Nice.
I don't care what you all say.
No,
Um,
an
No, that's
MSD3K
legit.
version counts. That's
Yeah.
all right.
That counts.
Real Steel from Jay Bryden. I have no idea what that is.
My husband worked on that movie.
Really?
Really?
He did. Yes.
Wow.
Doing
It's
what?
a surprisingly good movie.
So he was doing props. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as.
Did he make one of the robots?
When you see the previews for it, you kind of go, but it is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I
by all
told,
rights, it should be an awful movie, but
and
Sorry,
then I
Jessica, we're
made the mistake
here
of telling
slamming
the
the movie
people
you're
on the
hardcore.
show. I made the mistake of telling the people on the show that I don't watch animated shows because I'm not 9 anymore. And so the last two are Fox and the Hound that Timothy Robert gave me,
excellent.
and then Katie once again gave me another movie. This time Fievel Goes West, which I also have never seen.
What?
Also, a good movie, but that's an 80s classic.
Yeah.
So I have hopes maybe that'll be okay because it was 80s, 90s are fine. Anything
As
this
you-
century, no.
The Fox
As
and
you
the
bailed
Hounds
on a
was
movie.
1970s, so you'll be fine.
As you bailed on a movie, Mike, there is a movie starring Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And
I'll pretend I know who that is. Okay.
good God. And Anne Hathaway,
I've heard that name.
called Colossus.
We're not adding to this list.
My son tells me, and this makes me want to see it so badly. He says it is the worst movie ever made. And I'm kind of desperate to see it now because he was explaining it to me. And if I can explain it to you a little bit, it's one of these things where both of the main characters in their dream state, they have dreams that they are like a giant robot or Godzilla or something. And these things actually happen
Ooh.
in real life, right? So like the Anne Hathaway character is all like, oh my God, I crushed a city full of people and blah, blah, blah. It sounds ridiculous, and I can't wait to see it.
Okay. And Dan, absolutely not. You did not get a vote. I am not watching that movie.
No, you don't need to watch that movie. Hey, I want to go back to something Jessica said earlier to try to bring this back to our topic, because she's sitting here going, what the hell have I gotten myself into?
I haven't heard of half of those movies, so I mean.
No, that was the idea. We wanted to make Mike watch. Gross Point Blank, however, though, is legitimately good.
Have you not seen Gross Point Blank? Excellent movie, mid '90s.
I have,
really
because
good.
I live in
I've heard of it.
and I
Right,
grew
that's
up
right. Gross Point,
right
Michigan.
around there.
Close
so,
to
yeah.
Gross
And the
Point, yeah.
soundtrack is fantastic.
Excellent.
If you're an '80s kid, the soundtrack
Okay.
is absolutely great.
That's
And
probably
Ro,
next on my list then.
You know, I saw it because the main character is an assassin.
There you go. 10 years, man. I quit high school. I joined the army. Anyway,
Excellent.
you know what I'm talking about if you see the movie. You go to farmers markets and you do well. And that you are not the first person to say that. And I'm surprised every time someone does. Because I know that in our town we have a little farmers market. And despite the fact it's in a college town, maybe it would be a good place to sell books. I don't know. But it just seems like Fantasy Dragons and everything is kind of out of touch with the crunchy granola-ness of a farmer's market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'll give you a trick. I also make bath bombs and stuff to bring.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You know,
all right.
I can attract people to the area, but no, it's actually very interesting. The thing I found is that when you are selling and it's the pitch that you're making is that you're a local author. So I have had people buy my books just simply because I'm local. And then what happens, especially because it's kind of a small town, is like, okay, you go there, they buy it because they want to support a local author. They read it, and a lot of people are surprised because my stories, they're more human stories than they are the epic fantasy. Like there's fantasy elements, but it's really more an exploration of psychology and like humanity and that. So they end up coming back to me and being like, I usually don't read this kind of thing, but it was really good, and I'm going to buy the rest of your series. So that was cool. I do think by the end of last year, I tapped out the local market at the farmers market I had been attending. So I'm going to need to branch out, and I think I'm going to have to go south this summer, away, a little bit to get a different audience. But yeah, I find it was surprising. I'm not talking like big numbers. You're paying like $25 for a table for a day, and I'm selling like 10 books. But it's like, you sit there and you sell 10 books, and the markup on your author copy is significantly more than anything I'm going to sell on Amazon. So.
Right. And 10 books actually, for a $25 table, hanging out at the farmer's market, that's not a bad day.
No, and I do come home with like, artisanal bread and like the stupid popcorn.
There you go.
You wipe out your profit margin.
I do wipe out my profit margin just on the farmer's market goods, but
Now you see, for me, I can't do the local farmer's market because then those people will know me. Yeah,
this is true. You do have to get known.
They will they'll read what I write and go, I don't trust you anymore.
Give me that big raised eyebrow. You live in our community? Oh. Don't you live over on Peach Street? Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from you.
Yeah. Ro has done quite a bit of editing for me, so he knows what he's talking about.
You know what though? Every time you do it to me, man, I start reading one of your books and I go, oh, this is going weird fast. And by the end of it, I'm right there. It's like, what happens? Tell me more. So good on you.
Yeah, well, I'm still mad at you that you've not put anything out since Heirs of the Flawed Creation. I need to know what happens to several of those characters, and you just have not put anything out.
Yeah, Ro's mad at me about Adrift. But I'll write. I'll keep writing the stories. I can only write what I write.
Do you write a lot of, or do you write any novellas at all, Jessica?
So that's on my list of things to think about. I have a couple. I've noticed that those seem to be very popular. Like people, the 2-hour reads
Short
seem to
attention
be very
spans.
popular.
Yep.
And I was like, well, maybe I need to tap into that. But I actually ran into what I found is that a couple of the events, people, maybe it's my covers, I don't know, but they are driven to them for their children, and I'm like, I mean, he kind of gets tortured, and there's kind of like some essay and like the second book, and like I don't know if you really want to. So I've considered trying to pivot and do something like middle grade, like that. That's on my list. So I want to
essays
finish.
better for middle grade. That's
Well, none of that. You don't. I don't write, like, everything's fairly PG-13. Like nothing's explicitly. I don't have any kind of like explicit scenes or anything like that. But like it's again, I don't know that parents want to have those conversations with their 9-year-old when they come up to my table. So I've considered, I was like, it would be probably good to have like a couple of shorter middle grade oriented books.
So what I can tell you, you write at a pace similar to me, and you can knock out a novella in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, soup to nuts. The first novella I wrote, I basically wrote it to get into a contest, and 14 days from idea to publication so that I could get in for the contest. And that's about what it takes to write a novella. So you would enjoy it. It's a nice little palate cleanser between novels.
And I will tell you, when I go to Comic-Cons, this book.
This book, gone. Peace out. Who kicked him?
He knocked himself out.
Bro.
No, I did it.
Oh,
this
did
book
you?
is an
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
is
saw
a
him go get
novella.
his book. I was ready. I had the trigger ready to go. Like that
It's
big
only
pain
140
pulling him out.
pages, but when I go to Comic-Cons, one, I never ever say the word novella, and two, I just tell people it's a short book. You can read this in an afternoon, and that is a selling point, and it's my best-selling book on my table, and it's a novella, and I charge $20 for this book.
You're charging
So-
$20 for that?
Same price
Yeah.
for a novella as you charge for a novel.
Yes, and you just never ever use the word novella or anything to try to shortchange yourself and make it like, well, it's only you just say this is what it's about. It's a short read.
Sure.
It's kind of wacky, and anymore with short attention spans, people are like, I want the short book, and I'm like, great. It cost me $3 to print, and I'm selling it for $20.
But realistically, it didn't take you any less effort to write the novella. In fact, it might take more effort to write a shorter story to get that whole arc in there in a condensed space than it takes to write a longer story where you're much free. Well, maybe not.
Love that pitch, Ro.
Where you're much freer with the adjectives and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Wait, people are free with adjectives? I don't like them already.
Yeah, not you. I know you're not. Some people do describe stuff though. So I don't think selling the novella for the same price as the novel is necessarily taking advantage of anything, because the work it's the same work, right? It just takes a little less time. If someone is doing woodwork or something like that, they're probably taking just as much care and effort into a small piece as they are a large piece. So it's not a size, you're not.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people, if you go to a sports thing, goes to overtime, you don't have to pay more. If a movie is an hour and a half or 3 hours, it still costs the same amount of money.
Exactly. Good.
You're paying for an experience.
That's a much better pitch.
Yeah, that's a better analogy. Thank you.
I had to think about those talkies. I haven't seen them in a while.
All those movies you never watch. and even J4 here has a good point. He's with a smaller story, you still edit, and sometimes you have to edit more to get it all down. So.
Oh yeah. Well, short stories are pretty hard. I'd say short stories and novellas take about the same amount of effort, but novels are much more difficult.
Jessica, are you a plotter or a pantser?
So I've done both. I find that I more recently, I don't know. So I'm very much like a hybrid, I would say. Like for the new book, so Legacy of Blood was extremely plotted. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen, like very much at the beginning. But the second book in that series, like I had an idea of what it was going to be, and then it totally went off the rails because I found that I needed more. Like it was supposed to be only like a duology. There was only supposed to be 2 books, and I knew what the second one was going to be. And I started writing it, and then I was like, I need more time to like develop this. And then suddenly I'm like, now I'm going to have a whole nother darn book. So now I got to figure out what the heck is this middle book, and because it's too long now.
Let me ask you an honest question. How much joy do you get out of writing a plotted book as compared to a pantsed book? Because for me, I love telling myself a story, but editing and revising is hard work. And so it's just like playtime when I write right up until I'm doing revisions and editing, in which case it's work. So for me, I'm a pantser precisely because it's the time I'm telling myself the story.
Yeah. I think to me, like the way I've done it, I guess I'm a little odd because I have to perfect a chapter before I move on to the next chapter.
Ooh.
So
that's so painful.
Yeah, like I don't just like write. Everything
write,
is like
and edit.
Yeah, it's everything is I'm going to do that until and then I move on. So I wrote the Dragon Riders of Old, the one that the standalone. I released that on Substack 1 chapter at a time. I had a chapter a week that I was releasing as I wrote it. I had no idea where it was going to end. And I would write it, release a chapter into the world, into the wild, and then, keep going. And people are like, that's insane. Like, what if you wanted to go back and fix things? I'm like, I have a very rigid system in my head. Like, I think linearly. There's no twist at the end that can happen that was not prior set up. Like, everything has to come from what came before. So regardless of if I figure that out ahead of time or I'm actually sitting there and writing it as I go, that's what I'm like, what happened before, and everything after has to make sense. So
you said 2 things there, and I'm sorry, guys, you can tell me to shut up.
No, go ahead.
You said 2 things there that got my attention. One is you have to have it all plotted out because you're linear and you have to put everything in the beginning. When I write, I find that just making things interesting give me the elements that surprise me later. I'll put something in that I'm just like, hey, this would be fun. And then 100, 200 pages later, I go, oh, I can use that thing that was fun.
So I'll correct you there because I don't actually, like I said, I've done both. I've like this story. I had no idea where it was going. I did not plot it out. I knew the characters. I knew the lore, like, kind of where you're going, but I just let it tell itself. And it's more or less like it just builds on itself, and then I'll get an idea. And as long, I only entertain ideas that made sense. Like I ended up having to make a change. The last book I published right before it was done, I had to make a small change because I had he gave up an item that I realized for the next book would be very convenient to have. So I had to edit that little piece before the thing went live.
Indian giver before you got to the
no, he's got to keep that. He can't sell that. If he sells that, then I lose a nice thing that I could use.
What surprises me in how you said you do that, Jessica, is that you said you don't know the end. And I think you're the first person we've had on here who is a pantser who doesn't know the end. Because most pantsers, they will know at least that, right? They'll say, okay, I know I'm starting here, and I know this is where I ultimately want to be. It's all the stuff in the middle I have no idea about. And that's what we'll figure out on the way. But you don't even know what's going to happen at the end.
No.
I'll qualify
so at
for
what
you.
Point do you say, oh, now I know what's going to happen at the end, or
It
is it a
depends.
surprise to you when it's
It
done?
really depends. Like right now, so the series I'm working on, again, like I said, I was working on the 4th book of the series when I got the idea for Legacy of Blood. And so that one ended up getting more plotted, I think, just because I had a shiny new toy and I wanted to think about it, but I was like forcing myself to write the other one. So I was not letting myself write it, but I was going to force myself to write the other one, but I couldn't stop my little wheels from turning and getting ideas. So it ended up being pretty well plotted, and I went into that one with the end in mind. Like I said, the second one, I know where this, I don't know, like when I started my first series, I had no idea what the end was going to be. And I just got an idea one day. So it's like, I typically know the end before I actually write the end, but I don't necessarily know the end when I'm starting or when I'm on book 2 or when I'm even on book 3. Like it's kind of, I'm kind of all over the place.
But you managed to bring it to a satisfying conclusion nonetheless.
Yeah. I think so.
There's no wrong way. It's just whatever way works for you. You're just the first person I've heard in our limited experience that doesn't know the end.
So tell us another piece. The other question was, you released on Substack. How'd that go? That's Ro is on Substack, and
I just wrote down Substack as a question to ask her. El, well done. Good
job. Yeah, you're simpatico. So I did the first 20 chapters, and I had about 26 readers every week. That was actually, like, you could see the number that they were following along every release. So I feel like that's pretty good. Like
so you get good metrics.
Yeah, it'll tell you how many people read. Like my most read chapter was like the first one, and I had like 150 people that read that. And then it was weird to me because like the second chapter dropped off a cliff for some reason. I'm like, nobody likes Oren for whatever reason. But then like the third one would have more, and I was like, I don't know what you guys are doing. So it's kind of fun to watch like the different numbers or the chapters that people seem to like skip.
Was this a push or a pull? Was this something that you sent out to people, or you just posted it and let people find it organically?
And like people that subscribe will get the notification that the new chapter is released. So you're building a subscription base, and they'll get the email.
That subscribe to your Substack.
Yeah.
But do you find people that?
There were definitely more. I mean, I definitely don't have 100 followers on Substack as of now. So it's like there's definitely people reading this that don't subscribe to me, but they were reading it. So
interesting.
I don't know.
Do you have a paid version of Substack, or is this all on the free?
So it was all free. So I was just making it available free for this. I considered, I was like, well, maybe at a certain point I'll like publish the rest of the novel, but have it be behind the paywall to see if I can get any conversions. I ended up not. I just ended up publishing it on Amazon, and I did it select so I could have it on Kindle Unlimited to try that out because I never did that. So I didn't finish. I have the first 20 chapters and then that's it. You have to go buy it. Give me some KU reads.
Cheated those poor people.
Sucked them in real good.
Did you end out creating new readers? Do you see a connection between your Substack work and your other publications?
I don't know. Like that. I think I had like the 26 readers. I think I lost several of them. Like they never went on to buy it. So they just got to that one pivotal moment and then just, I guess, pieced out. So that's kind of sad, but I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I don't know what the conversion, it's hard to tell. Like that's one of the problems is like, you have metrics of who's viewed it. And all it is viewers, not necessarily like, did they read the whole thing? Like,
you don't have, there isn't a metric of how long they spent on it or anything.
Exactly. Yeah. You just know that they've clicked into it and they've viewed it. But like, did they read all of it? Did they read part of it? Did they,
So of that 100, it might have been, you had 80 lookies that just came in and read a paragraph and said, yeah, this is me, not me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you really don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. J4 says you're doing good if you can get anyone to read something you post on Substack.
It's true.
Especially if you're just posting it and waiting for people to find it, right?
Yeah, I think like Royal Road maybe would be a better avenue for the fiction type of path. Like I get pretty good readership on my actual like articles. So I write tailored towards authors. So different experiences, experiments I've tried, different things like that. And I get pretty good readership on that just from the writing community. But I don't know if that turns into any kind of sale either.
So what kind of tips do you got for us for the writers out there?
So I've done commentary on just like writing things like I don't like Mary Sue's, and I read this and it was terrible, and I've also done things like I did an experiment with review sites where I signed up for some of those review sites where you're reading other people's books and they're reading yours and they're leaving reviews. And my experience with that, which was by and large, like nobody's actually reading these books and they're just leaving fake reviews. I'm pretty sure.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Because like they would leave me, I made it a point to read the books. Like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to read your book. And then I would leave a review, and it's like, and then somebody would leave a review for me, and I would look at that review and I'd be like, you didn't actually read my book because you just called it like this epic fantasy with like huge battles and magic. And I'm like, that's not what I wrote. And then I'd get mad because now I have a review on there. Great. It's 5 stars. Wonderful. But it's false advertising. It's telling people that my book is something that it's not. And now I'm angry. So overall, I did not like that experience, but it was interesting. It was interesting to see how that world works, and to give people feedback on it.
Do you end up getting reviews on what you do on Substack?
Not like I get comments occasionally. I get likes.
So you get comments on Substack, but it never gets past.
Nobody's gone and like reviewed the book. Aside,
because you cut them
some
off
of those people did read the whole book. Like after the 20 chapters, they bought the book and then they read it. And I do have several reviews from that.
Right.
We mentioned this. I think Mike mentioned this earlier. On your website, you have, I think it's the best button I've ever seen on a website. You have a little button at the bottom that says, if you find a typo in one of my books, report it here. And you have a button for it. Do people actually click that button?
I have not had anybody fill it out. That came from somebody. So when I first released my book, it was a little rougher than I realized. And my kind parents, who were the first guinea pigs of reading it, told me that. And then I had to go get editorial help. But then I still had several print copies that I had made. And I was like, I don't know what to do with these. Like they're not, they got some typos in them, but they're fine. Like, it's a serviceable book, right? So I put them in those little free libraries, and I got a 1-star guy from that.
From a free library?
Yeah, he took my free library book, and he
like one of those
on
little
Amazon.
Boxes on a fence post.
He went on Amazon.
You took your book out and read it and gave you a 1-star?
1-star review. Yep. And
I'm sorry,
like,
that's a dick move right there. You've got to get 2 just for putting it in the box.
I'm like, okay, that's nice. But he pointed out that I spelled something wrong. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like, people like to like note, oh, you spelled crone wrong. I'm going to like tell you that you spelled crone wrong. I was like, well, if I can get him to put it on an Amazon review, maybe I can get him to like actually send it to me. What page was that so that I can fix it? But yeah,
I have long been a believer that the best way to find a spelling mistake in a book is to publish the book.
Oh yeah, I read through these things and I'm like, this has been professionally edited at this point. Like I don't. Why is there a typo still? But they're still there.
Mike's professional editor let 2 chapters go through that were the same.
So
no,
actually,
he did not.
I was going to talk about that because the wonderful Palmer Pickering, she actually read my Haley Traveler. And she's like, Mike, you need to hire a proofreader. And I was like, I did. She goes, you need to hire a second one. So she took it upon herself and she sent it back to me.
Oh, my Lord.
So yeah, I thank
feel
God to
violated.
Palmer for that. I fixed everything. I got rid of the duplicate chapter. It's been republished, and we're just not going to talk about chapter 18 ever again.
Oh my! Well, except for right now. That's incredible. That's a lot of effort too.
Yes.
How much of that is like something real though, and how much of it is this is where I like my commas?
Well, so I was apparently in a funky mood at the time, and I decided, he said is a complete sentence. And if you have something inside quotes, it's a complete sentence. Just put a period, then put he said, period. And I did that for like 2/3 of all of my things. And she's like, no, once again, this is wrong. No, once again. I'm like, it's not wrong. Stylistically, it's terrible. I'll grant you that. But so a lot of this was that because there's a lot of dialogue.
I remember seeing those and correcting a lot of those.
Yeah, and then when I started writing, I also decided I was going to bring back 2 spaces after the period, and then I disabused myself of that notion. So this is just Mike deciding that he's not going to change the world.
That's a losing
slowly.
battle, yeah.
Right.
I actually had to do a cover. I had to fix a cover because I got a podcast review, and they read the back of my cover and stammered. Very cool dudes. They did not point out that I left out a word. They just stumbled on it. And then I went and looked at the book, and I was like, oh, I know why they stumbled. Had to fix the cover and republish.
So I forget where I heard this. No, I forget where I heard it, but one person was talking about they talked to an indie author who misspelled their title. And they told the author that, and they're like, yeah, I know, but no one else has a title that on Amazon, so you'll always be able to find it. So no, I'm not changing it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you are the people that when they say you should never go and, give it, everybody should give them 1 star for being a horrible person. You should never. I was like, no, if you're going to do that and give all indie authors that sort of a bad name, you deserve 600 1-star reviews on your book. But I'm too tired and old. I'm not going to do it. But I still think they should. I would support that. I just won't take part.
I am terrified that I'll misspell my name. And now I know why everybody does the R dot whatever instead of spelling it out. But Jessica, you are our guest here, believe it or not. If anybody has stayed with us for the hour, this is Jessica. She is our guest. Remind us what your latest book is, please, and hold it up if you've got it.
I do not have it, but I can. Where is my picture of it?
And tell us about your artist too.
Is it Fire from Ashes?
No, that's the first one. Share the screen.
This was her first one. Go get this first.
That's right. I'm going to show the picture. Here we go. Look at that. Did it work? Are you looking at the picture?
Oh, there it is.
There we go. Click it over. So that's my newest book. So that's called Bonds of Scale. That's the second book in my Sons of a Flame series. The artist that did the cover is Jess. It's the same one that Russell had to his book. And I found him on Fiverr with Russell's recommendations. So,
and that came out when?
Huh?
When did it come out?
This one just released on the 9th.
Oh, right. Okay. So like a week.
Yeah, it's been out for
nice.
Has it been a good week for you?
I had a couple sales, and then one person binged it on KU. So I was like, yes,
that counts.
I'll take that as a good week anytime.
A binge read is a real compliment.
Yes. Yeah. I assume it's one person. I mean, it's about the one day, and it's about the length of the books, and I don't know why else they would sit there and go through it. So,
well, very nice.
But yeah, this series is a fun series to write for me because the character is very different. So where I talked about wanting the hero that perseveres and such, this is the story of somebody who needs to get humble. Like he needs to learn to be okay with not being the chosen one, if you will. So it's a lot of knocking this poor jerk down. in many different ways.
Nice.
And watching him fail and learn and fail and learn and fail and learn and then become more accepting of the fact that he's a limited being. So it's different. It's definitely not like your standard issue fantasy story, but I've enjoyed writing it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Good,
I
that's
think
good.
all Ron Weasleys deserve their own hero moment in books. So that's good. All right.
I thought I did
I know
too.
we totally jacked this up by doing this on minute 65 as opposed to minute 5. But if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. If you're watching on YouTube, and you are, just go drag your little thing over to the left a little bit and click the little thumbs up. I mean, you could click the thumbs down if you want. We don't care. But yeah, click one of the buttons. And Jessica, thank you for being here. And EL, thanks for joining us. And Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for showing up and starting it late and getting your brother all on our case, so early.
Getting a moment to complain is not hard.
And with that, tomorrow at 7 we have the random writing prompts. So join us for a half an hour of largely quiet with background music, and get some 30 minutes worth of writing in with us.
And Thursday we will have Angela Board. Will be back on our show. And just so you know, her book lost out to Sword of Kaigen by like 0.05 points in Spiffbo whatever
Oof.
5. And they
Right.
just had the Champions League, and Sword of Kaigen won. So you could argue hers is the second best book ever in Spiffbo, based
Yeah,
on
you're
that.
not going to bring that up on Thursday, are you?
I like to pour salt in wounds, but Angela's nice, so I may not.
It's harsh.
But anyway, very good author. It's like 32 hours, the audiobook, so I've bought it, but I've not started it because, it's over my 500-page limit. But
You don't have a 500-page limit anymore.
I
should.
do.
Judge of Ivor. You don't get to deselect a book because it's over 500 pages. You don't get to judge them at $4.99. You've gone too far. We're throwing you out.
That's when I just write, "There be dragons," and I stop.
Jessica, thank you for putting up with us.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
And thank you everybody else for putting up with us. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow at 7 or Thursday at 7 or 8, Mike.
I believe 7.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much and have a lovely evening.
And I lied. It's 8.
Go buy Jessica's book.